Alrighty, so we're back. This will be part two, which is going to be the walkthrough and your rules. So we'll try and keep it simple. The rules are kind of simple. I mean, it's basically, yeah, the list is kind of long, but it's not so long that, I mean, it's just basically, it's kind of common sense on the part of it. Alright, so I don't think we actually have a pair that looks any good, but actually we did right there. Alright, so I missed a setup while I was typing up the rules, unfortunately, but it's a good example that we can go through. Alright, so let's put this here, and let's bring up the rules. Okay, so the first thing we want, trend, yes or no. If it's flat like this, that's a no. So if this isn't met, then we're not trading. Just stay out of it. Plain and simple. We want a trend. Without a trend, this isn't going to work. It's going to fail. You should be trading binary options or range trending, doing something else, sitting on your butt, playing around. I don't care. But, and I'm going to zoom in one for this too so we can have this. Alright, next thing, we're going to start CSS. What CSS is down here, this bottom line. Since this is Euro USD, if Euro is on the bottom, it's weaker. USD is on the top, it's stronger. So USD stronger means it's going to be moving downwards. So CSS was good. BB stop is the box above it. It is these red and blue boxes. We'll zoom out one so you can see it, but it is this right here. It's red and red. So far we have two goes. So for this trade we had a yes, a yes. The line in the BB stop, this one right here, was it red? Yes. Next, previous higher high or lower high broken. Right here it was broken by a close. It was not ambiguous. So our candle that we were watching for was, let me get to drawing tools. We'll come back. Here was our candle that said yes for the trade. Alright. So yes, moving averages. Slow, fast, they were a yes. We look left. Do we see any type of support here that could stop it? So let's go big. We look to the left. Is there anything there to stop it? No, there's not. Do our lines tell us there's anything there? No, nothing was there to stop this trade. This was actually a really good trade. And I freaking missed it. So look left. We are clear. Room to run. That's our next question. So here was that close. We should have been waiting on it. We had about 11 pips down to run. So it did have room to run. Now here is the one thing. We're 5 minutes after the bell. So let's count back. 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. This would have been a no. So actually, this would have been a pass because the bell was coming. But other than that, everything else lined up on this. So taking a look at it, and I'll highlight the area that we would have been watching. This is the entire portion of the trade. And you can't see the dots, but the dots are here. So this broke down below it, and it went. Everything lined up on it, so this was a perfect setup. Let's get rid of it, and let's look at the other one that we have on the screen. So setup number 2 we have on the screen is, and let's see if it was a setup or not. So we have, here's our previous, here's a swing low. What are we looking for? A breach below it. I'll draw it a little bit different this time. The candle did what? It closed below it. Now, let's mark that candle and let's take a look at what's below it. We're red, red, red. So we have a go for that. Do we have room to run? This wouldn't have been over here yet. Yes, we did have room to run. You actually had, on this one, about 36.9 pips room to run. So again, let's highlight what we're looking at. That is what we're looking at. Here, close, in. That's what we're looking at. Now, this one would have been a bit iffy because of the moving averages right here. But by the time this one closed, we were well away. So the only thing on this one would have been the moving averages would have been in question right here. Because we did have a downtrend, then it pulled up into it, but then it clearly came out with that big candle and out. Now that's about as big as a candle I'll do on it, but I'm not going to try and get too much into that right now. That'll be for the third part when we start taking live trades. So we had two setups right there. One was a definite go. The second one, this one moving averages would have been a little bit quirky on, and this one because of the bell coming close. But both of them had everything else qualified. So if we can get most of it qualified, then you should be okay. Let's look at USD JPY. This is a little bit more of what you're going to see, and here is what we have as a loser. Excuse me. Let me zoom in on this one because we do have a losing trade on here. You're not going to win them all. Okay, so we have a definitive trend. It's upwards and then it stalled out. This was the news candle right here that killed everything and pushed it down. This was the unemployment news candle right here. I had gotten in here, gotten up to here. I didn't exit out, and then news hit, so I got burnt on this. This was a 1 hour trade, so I guess I shouldn't even be talking about that. Okay, so let's take a look. Here's our candle that closed above, right? So let's mark it with a blue line. Here's our previous swing high, it closed above both. So that's looking like a pretty sweet trade, but let's take a look at what happened. Again, you're not going to win them all, don't expect to win them all, and I'm not going to show just winning trades. Now, we do have a few warning signs, but I would have gotten in this trade. This would have been a definite trade for me because look at this thing. It was definitely in an upwards trend. Closed higher, so let's move down to the bottom. Let's zoom out one, and let's shrink it. If we look at the currency strength, red, this is a USD pair. So USD, it was above yellow. It was a little bit tight, and as in it was almost around those white lines, but let's not nitpick. According to the rules, it was a good trade to get into. I will say this, as you use it, we did have two warnings. These are closed, and look, we just had a dip into the red and it came back up. But according to the rules, this was an entry. We're green, we're green, we're green across the board. We look up, we look to the left. Is anything stopping us? Well, we have this, but we've cleared higher, so we have a go to get in. How much room do we have to run by looking left? We have 22.9 pips to run north. So everything on this said go. So you get in here, and we would have got stopped out down here. So this was a losing trade that met all rule requirements. So again, you are gonna lose some trades, but just stick to it. Eventually you'll start to see little quirks like this being kind of tight down here, but everything on here, rules said yes, it was a go. And this was news 7:30, and this was bell over here. So I mean, you're not gonna miss all of them. You're not gonna get all of them in the money. You're gonna miss some. So that covered 3 trades. Let's see if we can find anything else. GBP USD. We looked at that one. We looked at that one. Or did I do Euro? Okay, so GBP USD. I'm not trading this one actively because of the spread and the Brexit crap, but let's take a look at it. This one, not so pretty. Okay, so remember, using this, it'll help you identify support resist zones, plus your dots are going to help you identify support and resist zones. Let me change colors real quick on the candles so we can see them. I'm going to do a down candle white. Let's see if that'll pop it out there. Okay, now we can see them. Okay, so price moved up, came down. We had a close, not this one, because look, if we look, it did not close. Now, what are the dangers on this chart? Well, daily opens right here. So we know that that's going to affect price movement. We can see that it hit here, bounced up, hit here, bounced up, hit here, started to bounce up, and then it finally did come down. So this is a little bit more dangerous to get into, but we need to just be aware that, hey, there's a daily open there, so let me watch what happens when price hits through it. Now, if we go by the book, our entry candle could have been right here. Why is that? Because if we draw off of the close, that's a red line. I'll have to edit that so you can see it. Let me change the line to white. As we can see, sorry, it dips down a little bit, but it clearly broke through the previous lows here that the daily open was supporting. So we could have gotten in here, but let's check the bottom. What did the bottom tell us? So let's draw the line on that and see. Okay, so we are red. We are red. Now, what are we looking for? GBP is the first, so it needs to be weaker than USD, which it is. GBP is blue, USD is red. So that would have been an okay trade to get into. Would have been a little scary, but it was an okay trade to get into. Let's highlight the sections that we were looking at on that trade. This is what we're looking for. Rinse and repeat this shit over and over and over. Again, this one was a little bit scary because it moved up, and it may have been hard to see that a trend was forming. Looking back in the past, it's always easier. So let's say you missed this one. Did you have another opportunity? Well, let's see. Okay, so price moves down, pulls up, and pulls down. So what do we have right here? Let's highlight the area that I'm looking at before we even get into it. And let's zoom in on this one. So this is the area we're looking for. Here is our previous, and the swings right here, it's written for you. All you have to do is be able to recognize these. Now the swing's down here, but if we're going for a close lower, we could actually bring it up to here. If you wanted to be really picky, this could have been an entry candle, or this could have been an entry candle. This was most likely our entry candle, but if you were going straight by the book rules, this one did close lower than the other previous ones, although it would be more of what I would consider an ambiguous candle, so this would probably be a better entry. This one barely closed, so it's ambiguous. It's not giving us a definitive yes or no. So if we took it here, what would have happened? We would have got in, it piddled around, and then it dropped. So what was our drop? About 19 pips down. Now, zoom out. Okay, so there's our next. Now what would we be looking for here? So we got to drop down. So let's highlight what we should be watching as the next area for a trade. If I could, here, let me just do the object list to get rid of it. I'm trying to clear that box off. Control, delete. There we go. Bye-bye. Okay, so the next one we'd be looking for, and let's see. We have another possible entry here. This one would have been a little brutal. Again, you're not going to win them all. There's our entry candle, but it is slightly ambiguous, so I may or may not have held off on it. If I would have held off on it, we would have got stopped out immediately. Otherwise, let's see. What was the time on this one? 14:55. Nowhere near a bell, so yep, it probably would have been a trade. It drops down 11 pips, actually, so if your goal is about 10 pips, you would have been able to get out of it. I'm not going to get into re-entry entry. We're just going to go for the setups today. Well, right now. So what are we looking for in this one? Let's highlight the area. There is our move down, and we had an entry here with it going down. Not a perfect setup. We may, depending on what your target goal was here, you may or may not have made money on this. Now, do we have any more setups? Let's delete this, delete this. Let's zoom in because the next one isn't tricky, but it's a definite pass for me. This candle does not close below this one. So this was our move down, and this candle didn't close below it. Now, if you'd gotten in this trade right here, I think you definitely would have been able to get out, because let's say you didn't exit out here. It finally does drop down almost 15, 16 pips. So that would have been an okay trade in my opinion. You wouldn't have gotten burnt or anything on it. And then it moves up. But this one here would have been a pass because it did not close lower than the previous swing. Did not close lower. It closed equal. So this is a pass. It didn't close lower. It doesn't give us the information we need. It doesn't tell us yes. It doesn't tell us no. It just says, eh. So that is a pass. And then we see prices moving up. At no point have we gotten a close higher than this. So our next swing that we're looking at for right now is around this area. And if we zoom out one, I'll remove this line. And well, if I could click it, and let me do something. Let me reload the indicator because when I do that, it erased everything. Okay, close. You can see it's telling you where the next entry should be. This little red box is it's looking over here and here. So if we draw the line, we're looking for a re-entry there if everything lines up for a buy. We're green and we're green, so that means we should be pending on a buy. This went red, so now we're getting conflicting down at the bottom. Our moving averages are conflicting. So we're going to see this could just be a big pullback and go back down to red. If it does go back down to red, what are we looking for? Let's draw this out a little bit. We're looking for a close below here, and then we could take a sell if everything gives us confluence. If all these are lined up with this, jump that shit in south. If we don't get a close below, don't get in. Let's clear that. Let's clear that. So by simplifying this and looking for one type of entry, it should hopefully make it easy for you to figure out what to trade. If you're not in a definitive trend, you do not trade. If it looks flat to you, stay out. If you don't know, ask in chat. I mean, it's as simple as that. Let's not push it, do anything crazy. We're not reinventing the wheel here. We're trend trading with the trend. There will be some more advanced things on this in the future, but for now, one setup only. Again, there will be a part 2 that shows Rinko, because I do believe that is worth learning, but I want to keep it simple for now. Now, some of the things to take into consider, and I haven't mentioned, the M1 average candles. So 5.3, 4.7, and 4.3. That's telling us about how fast the 1 minute candles are moving. So we're looking at an average moving about 4.5 pips. If we're using a 10 pip stop loss on 4.5 pips, that means 2 1 minute candles could wipe us. So you want to be careful when these numbers start getting too high and you're using a 10 pip stop loss. But if these numbers start getting high, that means you increase your take profit and your stop loss a little bit. We're going to get more into that later on, but for now we're just looking to identify setups. That's all you should be doing, is looking to identify setups and getting in and out of them. We can see on this setup it dropped, it hit our support, and now it bounced up. So we're looking for another move down. Where's our re-entry point? It's already drawn for us. It's right here. So if price closes below that, let's jump in one more time. I so want to go over the other re-entry method, but for now we're going to keep it simple and do that. This video is going to be short, sweet. We're just trying to get you to identify setups. Again, I will upload everything to Mega for you. This will be there. I'll take out the yeses and nos. But those are your basic rules. Keep it simple. Just follow the rules. And for the most part, you're going to do well. I mean, we will get into later on the take profit and stop loss portion of it. But this is, for now, I would say halt. Don't worry about take profit and stop loss. Use the default of 10 pips take profit, 10 pips stop loss. Get the hang of identifying setups. Send me your chart showing me that you identified a setup. Now, if you start saying, well, shit, this would have worked if I increased take profit and stop loss, but I had a valid setup, then you're learning. And we'll get into that at that point. The next video will get a little more advanced into the take profit and stop loss portion of it, but for now I want to focus on just setups. So honestly, you could watch the next video that's going to be in it, but I would say take a week and just trade this for a week. You'll start getting a feel for take profit and stop loss by using these numbers down here. See, right here we're at 3.3 pips average across the board for 15 minute, 30 minute, and 60 minutes worth of 1 minute candles. So that means we have a really steady movement. But I want you to focus in on just seeing the setups and taking the setups, not on the take profit and stop loss portion on it too. Alrighty, so that pretty much wraps up this one. Again, we just wanted to identify setups. I have a bunch of charts I will be drawing on, so check in Mega today, or check in Mega. You'll be seeing some sample trades in there that I'm going to upload where I draw on the charts to identify it, but I wanted to go over a few live. We didn't get any live trades, unfortunately, but we'll watch the charts and see what we get. I'm trying to think anything else. Again, same as usual. If you have questions, hit me up on Slack. Email me your charts, please. Send me your charts through Slack. Post them in the main damn room. I don't care. It's not going to kill anyone. If you're afraid for people to see your charts, send them to me. If you send me your charts, what I do is the next day I go over them live. I might give you a little feedback immediately, but for the most part I wait till the next day, and I use them in the video to go live to review charts. And that goes for binary charts or Forex charts or the news trading charts. Any of those three, send them to me. If you do this news, send me your spreadsheet. again, I say this probably every time I'm going over something. If you don't send them to me, I can't help you learn. It's as simple as that. You have to ask questions to be able to learn. This will wrap up the walkthrough video. Again, guys, you can see how these are a little bit more short and concise. It's because I cut out a lot of the, to put it bluntly, the bullshit. This is a simple system that you can get into and learn and use, and it is effective, and it makes money. That's it. I'm going to take a 5-10 minute break. We'll go live just for bullshit session then. I got what I wanted done today, as in the 2 videos, to get you up and running on this. Alright, enjoy. If you have questions, hit me up.